Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodi. Like to welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the Shang-Chi flick that I was very pleasantly surprised. I love the movie. It's worth watching. And I went in with really low expectations. For one, I don't know too much about Shang-Chi. He barely pops up in my comic book collection. I remember him teaming up with the X-Men, fighting against the Hellfire Club and the Return of the Kingpin. Then during the Heroes for Hire series, the Misty Knight team. Then during Hickman's Avengers, and that's pretty much it. So I have to add, we're coming off the Black Widow movie that it had some things that I liked, but I felt it was a big letdown. And especially I hated what they did with Taskmaster. They wasted a fantastic villain. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about Shang-Chi. I saw it 2 times. The first time I went to a theater that the sound wasn't working properly. The speakers, especially the low-end speakers, were on the fritz, so the fights didn't have that weight to them. Interesting how much sound impacts on action in movies and stuff like that. So I went to see it for a second time. I went with my daughter to a higher-end theater. I saw it in 3D, and it had killer sound. The 3D, it's worth it. It looked pretty cool in 3 scenes in the way that the action is filmed. Pretty creative, but I'm sort of getting ahead of myself. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you guys what I liked and what I didn't like about this movie. I'm going to try not to get in too much into the plot. The plot's pretty good. I did like it. I thought the story that they had to tell was interesting. Spoiler warnings, just in case. I really think this is worth seeing. It's one of those better MCU movies. I feel like it might grow on me as time goes on. And I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with Shang-Chi after further down the line. So, first let's talk about the lead character, Shang-Chi. The actor Simu Liu. If I butcher any names, please, sorry. He does a killer job, very charismatic. I like his presentation of this character. It does have some, at least I got some Jackie Chan vibes off him, the way he's acting and stuff like that. I found at least Shang-Chi to be a very likable character, a guy that I can identify with, basic level, not like the stuff he went through. What else? The fighting scenes with him are fantastic. Another positive to this movie is the action. It's very well filmed. It's a fusion between a kung fu flick and an MCU movie. They really nailed it there, and the director gets really creative with some of the fight scenes. The first one in San Francisco is magnificent, and even the action at the end of the movie when you get into full CG mode that we see in all these MCU movies in the third act. We've gotten sort of to the point that they all sort of expect what's going to happen, and but with this one they get pretty creative. I like what they did in the final action scene. Like Shang-Chi, spoilers, like he goes full on Dragon Ball Z at the end of the movie. He gets crazy powerful and good. And that was another thing about Shang-Chi, is that Shang-Chi gets his ass kicked a couple times. Like, you feel like you're not really sure if he's going to come out on top. Obviously he is, but things are told in the way the action is told in this movie. You get that feeling. It's very well done. To the other character that I thought was pretty cool, Katie. The actress was Aquafina. I'm not too familiar with her. When I first saw her, I thought to myself, oh God, she's going to ruin the movie. I thought she was going to be super annoying. And no, she lands all the jokes. I love that she has with Shang-Chi. I would like to see where they're going to take this character, because like at the end of the movie, it's like, okay, they're going to do something with her. Another thing, that really interesting thing, because obviously a lot of this movie takes place in China, a lot of Chinese lore and mythology within the movie, and so that I thought was really good. Sort of caught me off guard. I didn't see that coming. Very little about Chinese mythology, but I sort of recognized some of the mythological beasts that would pop up here and there during the movie. And another thing is that there's quite a few parts that are actually in Chinese. I thought that was very interesting that they would go for so many scenes in Chinese. It gives you like this feel of authenticity to it. So it really shows that dual nature of Shang-Chi, because he's of Chinese origin. That's part of his culture, but he moved to the United States. He's trying to be as American as possible, as integrated into that culture. And so I thought that was a really interesting thing that they did there. So getting back to Aquafina, that was pretty cool. Zhu Ziling, that's Shang-Chi's sister. She was okay. She had some issues with her brother, but badass with that traditional Chinese weapon with the dagger on the rope, and she could do really kick-ass things. And she seems to be sort of like a better fighter than Shang-Chi is. I didn't feel like she added too much to the movie. Then we have they brought back Trevor Slattery, Ben Kingsley, the Mandarin from the Iron Man movie. I thought that was brilliant because I remember, like, that's one of the few things that I actually liked from Iron Man 3 was the big reveal that Mandarin was a fraud. I like that idea. The one shot that he went to prison and he was captured by the 10 rings. So it's so cool, really cool that they brought him back and he was actually imprisoned by the 10 rings. And his whole character arc I thought was really funny. We have Zhu Wenwu, probably totally butchered that, the supposed Mandarin. And as a villain, he was fantastic. He's sort of like, he's actually the driving force to this movie. He's a grieving father, a grieving husband, lost his wife, and Shang to be the heir of his empire. And he actually like to live a decent life, not going into crime, because he built this gigantic criminal empire that I really don't want to go into the plot of the movie. But the thing is, the guy tried to live by the straight and narrow. Life came back, beat him on the ass. His wife ended up killed. He goes on this vengeance trip and he wants to take his son with him. He goes AWOL, goes to live in the United States after he takes vengeance for his mother. And the guy is like, he's a grieving husband, he's a grieving father. He really loves his son. He doesn't want to hurt him, even though he's a crazy, powerful supervillain. The 10 rings were really cool. I loved the 10 rings. I loved how they work. I actually thought it was a shame that Iron Man never fought against this guy. This would have been so cool to see those rings going up against Iron Man. Like every really good villain, he's the hero in his own story. He's very misguided. He thinks he's doing the right thing. That really works for me. Now, there's only 3 bad things that I didn't like about this movie. So, the first one was Death Dealer. Looked really awesome. Thought we were going to get more from that character. And no, and he has a really stupid death. The other thing is Razer Fist. He's like the worst of the Marvel mercenaries. And here, his representation was completely meh. I thought they could have done really cool things with Razer Fist. The other thing is the mythological village where Shang-Chi's mother comes from, where Wenwu thinks he's imprisoned. It looks at moments too much like a set, and the costumes are way too perfect, at least for me. That just for some reason didn't work, and the dragon weapons also meh. But that's just only 3 things. And the big bad at the end, I can't remember the name of the demon, the Dweller of the Dark or something like that. I'm not familiar with that villain. I've never seen him before. I guess he's a Doctor Strange villain or some magical character villain. The thing is, I really like this movie. I really want to get the Marvel Legends Wenwu. I do recommend you guys go see it. Who cares if I recommend this anyways? So I'm going to leave this video here. Hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.